What if I told you that there is a perfect strategy? Yes, indeed, perfect strategy that will work 100% of the time, every single time you are executing it. And the best part about this strategy is that you probably already know it, and you're probably already using it, and you probably already implementing it in your business. Um, okay, let me do final check. Are we live? Are we live? It looks like we're live on LinkedIn, we're live on Instagram. So, hello everybody. Say hello in the chat. Say hello in the comments as you're joining me. If also if something resonates with you, just like share with me in the replay in the comments if you're watching on the replay and if you're watching live. Now, indeed, yes, indeed. We often, in entrepreneurial life, we often get nervous or get obsessed with a strategy, what strategy to implement. But the thing is that any strategy can work, and probably the strategy that you learn from your business coach actually works. And I keep hearing the claims that it's 2025, what was working in 2020 is not working quite as much in 2025. But I would like to challenge that. It's not necessarily for us to execute the same strategy, to do exactly the same thing, and expect like results 100% of the time. It is not about the strategy, but it is about who is executing the strategy. Who is executing the strategy? Because like, what is the difference between two entrepreneurs, two businesses that execute the same strategy, and one business is making $10,000 a month, and another business is making $100,000 a month? The same strategy. The difference is the identity of that business owner, the identity of that entrepreneur who is executing like $100,000 a month. And they probably, and because of their identity, because of the way they think, they're operating that strategy at scale. You know, in my life, I've done a lot of complicated things. I'm a former clinical psychologist. I done therapy. I am a software engineer. I know how to build mobile apps. I know, like, when people say that business is complicated or funnel is complicated or something is complicated, listen, I've done a lot of complicated things. Therapy is complicated. Working in healthcare is complicated. Building mobile apps is complicated. Well, you know what is not complicated for me? Business strategy is not complicated. Business strategy is not complicated. And yet, it is evident that so many people failing with a not complicated simple strategies, either that like they start complicating the strategy unnecessarily, and it's another topic for another day. But again, what is the difference between entrepreneurs who are executing the same strategy? That, like, let's say, let's talk about launching, right? Because today, people sometimes get obsessed. Like, what is the best methodology? What is the best marketing strategy? How do I market? How do I launch? Let's talk about launching, right? And one of the easiest way to launch your offer, to launch your product, is a live stream. In my opinion, a live stream, when you go live, like just like what I do right now, and I talk to a camera, and I talk what I gotta say and what I gotta share. And last weekend, we all witnessed, if you were following, we all witnessed that Alex Hermosi went live, and on the first day, he closed $100 million with a live stream. With and live stream with a simple YouTube live stream. Listen, there are a lot of things that goes into it, right? Like, but again, how many entrepreneurs do you know that use live stream as a form to launch their offer? I know quite a few. I know quite a few, and I know quite a few big names in entrepreneurial circle. Like, for example, Tony Robbins, like he's leveraging YouTube to launch his offers, to launch his webinars. But how many entrepreneurs do you know that close $100 million in a live stream? Not that many. Not that many, because the thing is, it's not about the strategy, it's not about what to do, because any methodology, any strategy can work. Any methodology can work. Hello, Mary Kay. Thank you so much for joining me. Like, happy to see you live. So, any methodology can work. Email list can work. YouTube can work. LinkedIn can work. Your funnel that you used a couple of times and it didn't work, it can actually work and bring you a lot of money. Any methodology can work, but what is essential? What is essential? Who is executing the methodology? And again, if we want to get better at business, for the love of God, we have to start asking better questions. Because a question, what strategy should I use, is not necessarily a helpful question. Because you can find very unhelpful answer through ChatGPT, through online, through my live streams, through other business coaches. Every business coach teaches you like a strategy or two, and if you're smart enough, you can probably hang out through like few launches, few live streams, and you will figure it out what the strategy is about, right? Like live stream, like a lot of my clients went through launching their offers through live stream. It's not that complicated. And it's three live streams over the period of, nine live streams over the period of 3 weeks. Three live streams a week. And you schedule those and you break those live streams according to the customer awareness. Easy, this is super easy, right? This is not that complicated. You just figure out what is the gap, and you close the gap with your live stream. And if you do it right, then you're gonna make a lot of money. And if you do it wrong, then you're gonna get a lot of done at what you've done wrong. Hopefully, you are talking to people in between live streams. So Mary Kay asks, do you think people mistake shortcuts and gimmicks for simplicity? I think people abdicate their executive decisions to run their businesses and taking accountability for gimmicks and shortcuts. Because again, Mary, any shortcut can work. And if a shortcut executed really well, it can work. Like for again, I'm not a fan of Alex Hermosi. I have deep respect for him as an entrepreneur. I'm not in Hermosi fan club. So if he's doing a tour, I'm not buying a ticket for a tour. I might buy a ticket for acquisition.com to consult on my business, maybe, possibly. I don't know. But like, I'm not a fan. But what is like, what the gimmick here, or like the hack here, is go live on YouTube and register people for your live stream. But before that, right? Before that, who is that person? What is that story? What question that person is asking? What question that person is asking? Because listen, what I've seen in my practice as a coach when I mentor people, I've seen people making 24K in one single week. And by the way, it is a very healthy profit margin and is a very low expenses, high expertise. And then they quit and they decided not to do that anymore. And when we say like online, we often talk about like it's our capacity. But what is the capacity? Capacity is a readiness to execute and take accountability and responsibility for our own decisions. And this is why when I work with people, I combine spiritual psychology and my background, my professional background, my first career was a clinical psychologist, and I work in therapy. And I not just work in therapy, like that was really my and that was and that is my life passion because and when I was in college, I was going for extra trainings outside of my school because I knew if I want to do this as vocation, I gotta study this craft outside of college. I gotta study this craft from other therapists who see clients day in, day out, and who can actually teach me the craft of counseling and the craft of human psychology. And spirituality is also a deep portion of me. And the spirituality is something that I am practically implementing in my life. And over the years of therapy, I realized that there's no separation between human psychology and spirituality, and they're all interconnected. And this is why I'm drawn to humanistic psychology, to spiritual psychology, to transpersonal psychology so much. And when we reconnect with that core, when we reconnect with our nervous system, with who we are, with the creator, with our energies, and when we start receiving and manifesting the business that we desire, and not just business that we desire, that life that we desire, the right strategy can come because a lot of people get frustrated with their strategies, and the problem is not the strategy itself. The problem is that people start implementing the strategies and methodologies that are not aligned with their nervous system, and you cannot succeed in the methodology that you hate. You learn to love that methodology and align that methodology with your nervous system, or at some point you're gonna give up. At some point, whether you hit a big number or when you hit your number, you're not gonna launch anytime soon. You will be dragging your feet because because what you're doing is not aligned with your core. And again, there are so many successful timeless marketing strategies and marketing methodologies that I personally learned from the best names and the best entrepreneurs in the industry, but it's all comes down to your nervous system, to your nervous system. And another thing with entrepreneurship, we all think that like, okay, this is where I'm gonna go. I'm making money, I'm making profit. It's going to be like that forever. But in fact, entrepreneurship is like a road trip. And it's like a road trip. When you're listening to the radio, you have to recalibrate all the time. All the time. So Anne asked, how do you combine spiritual psychology? And a really, really good question. Like I'm gonna get into it like in a minute. So the spiritual psychology, this is what this is what it comes to play when we are recalibrating our business, because we have to do recalibration all the time. Let's say you run like 1 quarter, right? You do recalibration, what was successful, what is not successful. You run test. And with a spiritual psychology, for example, like it's really important to regulate ourselves, because as entrepreneurs we are reactive. We're so afraid to fail. And in fact, any big company. And listen, I work for Fortune 500 companies. And the one lesson that I learned from my corporate careers that you have to fail and you have to fail fast. You want to fail fast because you don't want to build something for years and years and then go to market. And then the market says, we don't want it. And like and in small business world, we operating in fairly small numbers, right? We talk about like, okay, six-figure business, seven-figure business, but with big corporations, with corporate. And a lot of corporates, by the way, also small businesses, they're operating in multiple millions of dollars, right? In nine-figure businesses. And they're playing really big. And when they're playing really big, when there's a lot of money on the table, they really want to fail really, really fast because you don't want to invest in the wrong thing and you want to test incrementally. And this is where spiritual psychology comes in. You align yourself with your purpose, you regulate your reactions, your behavior reactions, your emotional reactions, because emotions are not bad. Emotions are like God made you with your nervous system. But what is happening with entrepreneur, with business owners, often we go into this mental spiral. Nobody's buying, and it's not working, and it's not worth it. Like, what do I do next? What is the idea? Where's the opportunity? The biggest opportunity is actually sticking with it and keep testing different angles. Keep testing without pivoting big. You can keep testing different angles, but it requires regulated emotional state, because when you are reactive you cannot read data. And this is why working with a coach who understands human psychology is essential. Working with a coach who understands and also connect, who runs their business on not just as a business but also as a personal ministry is essential, because this is your space when you can actually think and process your emotions. When I started my business, y'all, working with one-on-one coach was the best thing I have ever done, because there were so many ups and downs and my nervous system was not used to it. And I'm still stretching nervous. This is continuation. This is continuous work. This is what I do for myself too. Like, I'm teaching my nervous system how to regulate, how to read the data, and I do it through breath work, I do it through meditation, I do it through talk therapy, I do it through behavioral based approaches, science, acceptance and commitment therapy techniques. Again, coaching is not therapy. Coaching can be therapeutic because you stop spiraling and you start thinking, but it's not therapy, right? But I use those techniques even for myself and with my clients when we need to think, when we need to have a sober mind to think. And as entrepreneurs, you like one skill that you want to develop. You want to be very comfortable with being frustrated, because it is there are a lot of frustrating things in entrepreneurship, in business. And once you learn how to be very, very good and effective with your frustration, you can run successful business, because it doesn't go away. Because when your business grows, you solve one problem and you start another problem. And this is why I deeply believe the combination of spiritual psychology and business tactics, right? And by the way, at the end of the day, when for example, when I do recalibration with my clients, by the end of the day, a lot of clients, they may not decide with one single launch methodology that I offer. They might decide with something else. One of my clients, for example, she's a high level consultant. She's a beauty consultant and for black businesses, for black beauty brands. And she doesn't need like big live streams. I mean, I think she would benefit from it 100%. But a small podcast, small network, connection and relationship marketing, when it happens through conversations, work really beautifully. Another my client, he uses live streams and he has not made $100 million like Alex Hermosi did. What he did, he landed a lot of conferences, a lot of speaking opportunities in big tech, because again, the like your niche that you are in right now is probably not as saturated as you think. When he started showing up, the community that knows him, the community that loves him, they started recognizing him like, oh, like that's Donovan. Let's invite him to like a speaking engagement. Let's invite him to a conference. And one conference actually offered him to sponsor his promotion. And one conference actually said, hey, you know what? We're going to record a video, professional video for you. You're going to talk about your business. You're going to talk about your origin story, and you're going to talk about what you offer. And when you're going to speak from stage, you have full permission to invite people to work with you. And he landed consulting clients. And again, after recalibration, my client decided to go even higher. We actually thought building his own conference, because this is like, it's just his, this is how he generates business. But my client actually decided to go like a level higher and start building AI tech startup, because he's so passionate about tech. He doesn't want to have just this expert based teaching business, right? Or mentorship business. It's a combination of mentorship and software product and possibly conference. It's really stepping into your genius, into your abundance. And this is what recalibration, when you keep recalibrating your business, this is what recalibration can actually do. And this is why I created 90-minute recalibration session. And not and this is literally, this is my response to the market. This is my response to the market when a lot of entrepreneurs right now, they may not look for a long-term engagement. A lot of entrepreneurs really, in trust recession, they need to recalibrate what they're doing in their business. Is it the same business model that they want to run? Is it the same offer? Like what is not working? Like if it is a sales portion, right? For example, with a consultant that I work with, that was a sales calls, right? And literally in 90, like, well, really, like, it was really like a couple of sessions, but after a couple of sessions, she was able to close like two deals on the same week and generate really, really like healthy profit margins, right? And like this is the power of recalibration session. Now, my recalibration session is 555 and $55, and you can send me a DM. I will drop the link in the chat later. But it's 90-minute session with me, and plus it's a 30-day of support, because again, as person who understands how human brain works, after we have 90-minute session, you're gonna have a lot of insights. You're gonna get excited. You're gonna get a little bit more regulated, because finally somebody heard you. Finally somebody actually provided space for you to recalibrate and talk about what is going on in your business. So you're going to feel really, really good, and you're going to have more capacity to make decisions. But after that, you're going to have all the questions. And this is why I provide 30 days of support over DMs or Voxer, when you can actually start working with when you can actually start working through recalibration and actually implement within 30 days, you can start implementing your recalibration steps in your business right here, right now. And if you need recalibration session in your business now, send me a DM. I will drop the link in the comments too, like after the live stream. You LinkedIn is a little weird when I drop the links during live stream, so it will not register as a hyperlink. I don't know what it wants to deal with LinkedIn, but send me a DM. Now, what questions do you have for me? We talked about a lot today. We talked about strategy. We talked about that, and as essential, who do you need to be? We talked about we talked about spiritual psychology, and I actually one thing, like as you are gathering your questions, one thing I forgot to mention in this live stream is a simple framework that you can actually take away from this live stream with you. So if you're still here with me, drop in the comments. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. And this is my gift to you. This is simple framework that you can actually execute right now in your life, in your business. Now, the framework is CAC. Stands for connection, and connection and resonance. It starts with you. Like, who do you need to become? What questions you need to start asking yourself. This is deeper identity work. And I cannot emphasize it enough. You want a simple strategy? Go do live streams. Go build your email list. Utilize LinkedIn. Utilize Instagram. This is not that deep. This is not that complicated. But in order for your strategy, for your funnel, for your launch to work, you need to establish connection, because after connection, you start create awareness. And without connection, there's no awareness. And without awareness, the second C, there's no conversion. CAC, connection, awareness, and conversion. But it starts with connection, with relationship marketing, with connecting with your audience, with crafting compelling messaging that actually in a way that your customers understand. And this is why it is essential to first elevate your identity and start asking the right questions. It's not like, do I need to go live on LinkedIn, or do I need to go live on YouTube or Instagram? It's like, a better question would be, how do I create trust in how who do I need to be that people trust me? Who people, like in trust recession, who people trust right now as we speak? Who people truly trust, right? It's be, do, have. And once you understand, like, who do you need to become so people can trust you, then, like, what do you need to do to create awareness? And this is the marketing portion. This is when you go live. When this is when you create your content strategy. This is where you can pick your social media channels and test social media channels. And you'll unpopular opinion social media channels. Test them. Test as many social media channels as possible. Pick one as your main lane. It can be LinkedIn, it can be Instagram, it can be YouTube. This is your main thing, main lane. My main lane is LinkedIn, and I'm testing Instagram for 90 days. I posted about it last week because as an entrepreneur, I understand that, like, I can't just rely 100% on social media, on one social media platform, because, like, anything can happen in one social media, right? Like, then I forwarded my attention to Instagram to see what comes out. I love it. I love creating on Instagram. I like connecting with people on threads in Instagram. See what comes out of it. Then you create awareness, and when you create awareness, you build trust. You start creating conversions. Now, let me see the comments. Hello from Brazil. Hello, Fabio. Hello, Katharina. Hello, Tracy. Anna said, I agree with everything you're saying, Eugene. The biggest lesson I've learned as an entrepreneur is to act versus react. Reacting to all ups and downs is exhausting. It never ends well. Anna, yes. And this is another wisdom from Kabbalah. Reactive behavior will destroy your blessing. Reactive behavior will destroy your blessing, and actually, it is actually backed by science, because when we're reactive, we're not thinking about evidence. We're not thinking about facts. We are in our emotions, and we might be so close to our blessings, but because we are reactive, we jeopardize it. This is why, by the way, a lot of entrepreneurs experiencing hardships in their intimate life, in their family life. And this is why there's so many divorces among entrepreneurs, because a lot of entrepreneurs are reactive because of the reactive behavior. And this is something that we need to work through. Absolutely. And absolutely. Listen, dope live stream. Okay, so I do have a couple of recalibration sessions available in August. I have 5 available in September. So I will drop the link in the comments here after the live stream. If you need a recalibration session, send me a DM. Just send me a recalibration, and it's 555 $555, and it's 90-minute session plus 30 days of support. And the value is absolutely tremendous. Like, and by the way, how the recalibration session was created, it was actually created from my onboarding sessions. Because after we went through onboarding sessions, people like, yo, this is like transformational, and this is just like 1 or 2 sessions right in. And after 1 or 2 sessions, people are, yo, like, if it is just the beginning, what can I expect in the act, like when I'm like 6 months working with you? And this is why a lot of people renew with me for a year. And by the way, like as a coach, I do have 3 containers, right? Like one is a recalibration session, second is booked and sold out for 3 months. It's when we actually fixing the messaging and conversion. And I have a year container when I am running a business, building a business side by side by you as your coach, as your consultant, as your strategist, and we do that recalibration all year long because again, recalibration is something that is required in your business. All right. Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate each and every one of you. Like, I never take it for granted when people show up online, when people say hello, when people engage in the comments. So, so good to see you. All right. I will see you later.